That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it.
Oh, look at that score. It's so, like, I guess I haven't seen it in that context, and it's, you know, it's like 85 points.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, they held the Clippers to 96, though.
Held the Munder, baby. We got a Munder.
Let's go.
Let's go. The most ridiculous Munder ever. Like, a Munder that was a Munder the whole way. You knew it was a Munder the whole way, and you also knew they were just going to lose. Welcome in, everybody, to the Losers Lounge.
No one's
Vogt, you got all
anyone.
Vogt, you got all dolled up today. You're looking like a snack, if I can say so.
Not like that at all.
Wouldn't you say he's looking like a snack over
He
here?
looks like a snack, but not a great snack, like a low end, like a little Debbie cake.
Like a Valley bar.
Wait, first of all,
Well, I mean, but it's like a quarter.
I don't know. A Little Debbie. There's like 5 Little Debbies that are just elite snacks.
All right,
Oatmeal
fine.
cream pie. Oatmeal cream pie is like the fillet of the
All right,
snack.
I'd like to apologize.
genre.
You look like oatmeal cream
Vogt's
pie.
not in the mood to joke around. Look at us trying to bring some
I
levity, and
haven't
he's
worn
like over here.
any dress clothes since like March, so I figured I might as well wear it to.
Don't say it.
You know what? Never mind. I'll just leave it.
wow.
I'll leave it.
What's funny, we talked about this earlier. Brendan's like, man, I haven't dressed up since March. And we were like, you've been literally on camera every day.
I know. Haven't had any excuses until now.
I'm also joined, in case you hadn't noticed, by D-Line Co.
Yeah. Oh, is that a camouflage joke?
No, but I should have been.
Yeah. I'm not taking. It's cold here in Denver. It's cold here in my heart. I'm not taking my coat off.
Is it
let's
colder
go.
here in Denver or in your heart at the moment?
It's difficult to say. Like, I haven't gone outside, but it's icy. It's icy.
Man, I'm
up
off
in
my
these-
game because I haven't even tweeted out the video yet.
Man, we're a
I gotta
disaster.
we are a disaster, man. Just not feeling it. Not feeling it. No, but seriously, guys, hang around because we're going to, this will be therapeutic. It's not like we haven't been down 3-1 before.
No.
Backs against
I know,
the wall.
These suckers. I told them.
These
I
suckers,
dare you,
man, I know
dare
it.
you to put us in a 3-1 hole.
The Nuggets
There
do
they
play
are.
their best when they have literally no choice. They
So
do.
we always start the show off, and guys, in the comments, hopefully you're watching on YouTube. You can hop in the comments there and talk to us. We see them on the monitor. Like and subscribe, all that crap. But also send us your
all
tweet.
garbage.
Tweet at us at DNVR Nuggets. Let us know what questions or topics you have.
unfollow us. Whatever, who
We're
cares?
probably going to get to all your questions, though, because I think everybody has the same one. I'm going to start over here because you need some time to collect your emotions. You could go dig into your cold heart here. What's your biggest takeaway from this game?
The Nuggets were very unprepared when they came out. Jamal Murray is still completely overwhelmed by the backcourt of the Clippers. Torrey Craig is a terrible combination piece. Once Gary goes out and Torrey Craig comes in, it's just a mess. MPJ doesn't shoot any shots in the second half after coming out and torching them in the first. So I guess my biggest takeaway is Nuggets in 7. Let's go!
That was a real roller coaster for you, Vogt. By the way, you said he's like a weird chess piece or something. That made me think of a chessboard, and I was thinking what chess piece would Torrey Craig be?
He would be
Limits all other pieces.
He'd be like a pawn that's like an immovable pawn.
Just a roadblock.
Just blocks the king.
There's a lot going on in this game, but to me, I think sometimes it is very simple. And for all the adjustments either side made, what decided round 1 was Jamal Murray being great. And I think one of the biggest differences right now between them being right in this, not winning, but 2-2 or something closer, is him just being a little better. And I know, and I've written it, it's a tough matchup for him.
It is a tough
But we
matchup.
just got done lauding him for that round 1. And there's middle ground between 40 points, and tonight there were unforced errors.
You didn't want him to touch the ball tonight.
Didn't want him to touch
Honestly,
the
every
ball.
time he touched it, I was like, oh, God.
And it's okay to just not make shots, but to
Yeah.
not take them, and the unforced errors, which have nothing to do with Kawhi, that can't happen. He's got to be better.
It is funny, all the people that, this is Murray's team now. He's the alpha. He's become the alpha or whatever. Jokic going up in the first round against the best defensive center in the NBA, puts up 26 points on 50-50, 80 shooting splits, right? Murray takes over, wins him the series.
Right.
He does this. He goes up now against the best defenders in the NBA, and it's like, oh, wow, completely canceled out. I mean, he's a zero at this point in the series. But I don't want to dog on him. To me, he's not the big takeaway because, to be honest with you guys,
There's more, yeah.
I don't know how Denver can score, given how the Clippers are defending them and given how Denver is attacking them. And, I've said this a lot. This is sort of my corner, this idea of, like, these platitudes. Defense wins championships. To me, they've always been so annoying because it's not true. Offense and defense wins championships. It's just so dumb that one is morally correct and one is like morally like
we did hold them
empty.
under. We got them under. That was a defensive
and weren't
chip.
close. Weren't close in this game. Like, at what point did you think the game was over? Probably the third quarter. You completely abandoned hope halfway through the fourth quarter, and yet they still held them under 100 points. And to me, it's 100% cutting off your nose to spite your face type of mentality here. This idea that there's this moral value to, hey, we defend, we win. Not true.
Well, even
it's just not true.
Even more to your point, in this game, it was a winnable game in the third. They had the lead in the third with the bonus, with plenty of runway to go, because they went to offensive lineups in the second quarter.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this was actually even bigger blowout.
And so then it turns to that three-man defensive trio that can't defend anyone. And I mean, if you can't defend and you can't score, and it's one thing to go to that lineup, but the leash was so long. I think it was 2 timeouts.
Oh my God! Yeah, I pulled out the. I didn't end up posting this, but I pulled out the game flow from ESPN, and you can see. I mean, look, you can see the like peak and valley of when MPJ checked into the game, and how the lead just got demolished, and then when Torrey Craig, and part of this was Gary Harris's fault, or I mean, I don't know if you say fault, but he got into foul trouble. Had to put Torrey and Millsap in there, and you stuck with them the whole goddamn third quarter when this game just went to shit. And it was like, what are we doing, man?
Our hype train took a stop at frustration station, man. I am so deeply, I'm so deeply frustrated.
Guy, you know what to make. We need frustration station.
I am so like I don't even have it. Like I don't even know what to do. Like I don't have any answers. I'm
a little exhausted. We were joking about this before, but I'm kind of worn down. Like, I, of course, want Denver to come back. I want all this. But, like, the feeling I have right now is, like, I kind of want to go camping.
Like, another 3-1 comeback? Yeah. That's a lot of games.
I kind of want to sleep in and just, like, I don't know, paint.
I
want to feed my birds.
Paint.
I miss feeding my birds.
You're feeding your birds. You just literally, like.
Do we need bird corn? Is it time for bird corn?
Feeding your birds means literally just pouring bird seed into a bowl, man. You can still make that happen. But, like.
Am I off base here, though, in saying this?
You are. I'm with you, though.
I'm off base, but you're with me. We're both off base.
Yes. We're off base.
Can you explain that to me?
I relate to how you're feeling, but it's the wrong position. We should be excited for more Nuggets.
Oh, I didn't even mean that. I was talking. Sorry, I was going back from the joke
negative.
And back into the conversation about. I mean, some things just feel so obvious to me. I mean, here's what's going on in this series. The Clippers are saying, not Jokic. We will literally sell out our entire defense to not let Jokic get going because he is murdering them one-on-one. So they're sending a second body. They're sending a third body. They're sending not just sending a double where it's like we're not going to – once he gets into the paint, we send a guy. They're sending the guy all the way out 15 feet outside of the paint to double him so that he has to pass the ball to somebody. And guess who they want him to pass the ball to? Paul Millsap, Jeremy Grant, Torrey Craig. And right now, none of those guys, for whatever reason, can make a basket. I don't think it's that surprising, but they're just basically saying this team is not capable, physically capable of beating us if we just make Torrey Craig, Jeremy Grant, and Paul Millsap beat us on these kickouts. And Denver's response is, let's just keep trying it. We need to shoot better.
And you can't, like me, what this plan presupposes if maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
And you can't just turn to that exclusive 2-man game when half of that isn't working either. So. It's true. It really is coming down to those guys hitting open shots.
But again, that's great offensive. I mean, Lou Dort, best defender in the NBA, arguably. I mean, in that series, and that's what Houston did. They said we're just not going to guard him, and he ends up shooting like 25 times. He had 30 points in Game 7, almost made it happen. But he just that's a strategy. You could say these guys can't beat it. Murray, we're going to shut him down. Jokic, we're just going to take the ball out of his hands. We're just going to not let him get anywhere near the rim.
It's pretty amazing what the Nuggets look like if you eliminate those two players out of the.
They look so bad.
You're like, oh, right.
And Jokic tonight I thought was good until he just completely lost. I mean, 26 points on almost 50% shooting. He misses one at the end there to not be 50%. 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, it sucks a little bit because he's going to get the front of the criticism when I just feel like he's not being put in any type of position to succeed whatsoever. And look, defensively he wasn't great, especially at certain moments, although the Nuggets hold the number 2 offense to 96 points. Again, I don't think we can complain about anybody's defense here. But you have to put a lineup that just makes sense to score out there, and the Nuggets stuck with ones that did not for so long.
And that third quarter should have been the moment when, right, where they go to a lineup that suits Jokic. Jokic dominates out of the second half, and then you're looking at 30, 10, and 8 in a win.
People, and I'm telling you, I'm going to double down on my. What's that? Oh, you had more?
Well, I mean, who knows if they win, but they're certainly in a position to do so.
It's a great point because here's the thing I just keep thinking. I don't know what Denver's ceiling is with Michael Porter, and I don't know what their floor is if he plays a lot of minutes. This was true in October, by the way, but it's a little weird now that we're almost back in October, actually, talking about the same thing. Really weird, ironically. But I don't know what it is. Their floor is probably pretty low. Their ceiling is probably really high. I just know what their floor and ceiling is with Torrey Craig on the court. This many minutes, in those type of minutes in that role,
and
you throw him with Millsap. I know what that does.
And look, Torrey Craig. Like, what's been asked of him and needed from him on this team, especially because of injuries, sort of muddies what was originally just an overachiever, an overperformer, and a great story from a former two-way guy. But at a certain...
it's not fair to Torrey.
It's not fair to Torrey. But at a certain point, it's like, all right, they're that next tier of contenders. What do the real contenders look like? Torrey Craig is not part of your nine-man rotation. And I'm not just knocking him. I'm just calling it like I see it. And
I'm just...
It's one thing if he's at least shutting guys down. But he's not.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to this idea about Michael Porter was the only player today in the positive. And I know, like, everybody just – it's so funny how everybody's like, did you guys see the rotation he missed? Did you guys see that? He missed a rotation over here. He missed it. Like, I noticed it, you guys. Look how smart I am. I noticed. It's like, guys, dude's just a bucket. And the Nuggets desperately need a bucket because they're getting wide open looks and not getting any buckets. And – yes, he gives up a little bit.
Buckets are underrated. Buckets are very underrated.
When he ends up with 34 minutes. So the funny thing is, he's a positive in 34 minutes, only rests 14 minutes. Nuggets are destroyed in those minutes. Right. And people are going to point out and say, oh, look, he did play. What do you want from him? 40 minutes? Guys, he didn't play till the game was over. We just said it was over in the third quarter. He didn't get in till it was over. At that point, you're coming down from 20 points. It's like, what are we even hoping for?
I'm with you. We agree.
Maybe it's wrong that we all agree. I know it's funny because I saw some people people have really been enjoying those podcasts with George Karl, and it's been so great.
Incredible, yeah.
They've been incredible, and it's so great to get a coach's perspective. And I saw somebody tweet at me today saying it's really interesting that how much the writers and fans and this or that take a position that's so opposite from not just Malone but also George Karl, because George Karl I think feels a lot of these same weights about a Michael Porter Jr. And look. There's a lot to this. I mean, never pretend to know more than George Karl or Michael Malone or this or that. But you know what? Sometimes there is being stubborn, and sometimes there is being inside a certain circle or bubble of like, these are the things that drive me nuts, and these are the things I can't live with, even if it doesn't work. And I think NBA coaches fall into that category a lot.
The thing that obviously none of us are privy to is just the relationship side of what it is. Like, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There could be punitive things happening, like, they're not getting along. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I think it's trust. George Karl talked about a lot about trust, and he might be the better player, but it's just does the team trust him? And I don't think that's true because he didn't play all season.
And punitive is the wrong word, but there are things that aren't necessarily. I don't know. There is more than meets the eye quite often that we just have no idea what's going on. But looking at it just from like a chess piece standpoint, like a lot of this seems obvious, but I don't know.
I just don't know. I mean, why that can't be more momentary? Like round one, MPJ, I get why you can't trust that guy or look to him, but like, what was the stretch in which you thought the Nuggets might win this game? Right. It was when Michael Porter Jr. was taking and making shots. And look, I know he doesn't have the handle or the well-rounded skill set to get his own looks every time, but like, it's Landry Shamet guarding him. Like, look at that. Look to that.
I mean, it's just. Anytime you look at basketball, and this is my opinion, anytime you look at basketball as one being more important than the other, the defense is what gets our offense going. It's just not true. It's like, I think sometimes thinking of basketball as possessions is super counterintuitive. We don't do this in soccer because the possessions aren't as intuitive, right? It's like one long play. And I think sometimes thinking about if we do something on this end, we don't have to worry about that. It's just not true, man. Like, sometimes you score and it helps your defense. It helps that flow. Tonight, the Nuggets just had no flow, no rhythm. There was nothing. The Clippers dictated exactly who was going to shoot for the Nuggets, and guess who was going to shoot? Guys that can convert on those. So, let's go to other takeaways here. What other? Are there any? Jamal Murray struggling is a little discouraging, but again, You know, it's been
Yeah,
well
I
covered.
mean, he doesn't look quite right, but I think it's after watching this, it's just more that the Clippers are just swarming him. Pat Beverly is right up on him, or Kawhi Leonard, or Paul George at times, and he just has no room to breathe. He kicks it over to Jokic, and then the entire team collapses on Jokic. And then the problem then is that Murray is just so, you can just bump him out of his confidence so easily, and then when his confidence isn't there, like, you know, it's like hard for him to start.
What about that weird walk to the hallway?
I think he may
Just
have
trying
had to go to the
gather himself,
bathroom.
maybe.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
He might have just put in to gather and recenter himself. I mean, Jamal is definitely aware of the fact that he's
I know,
struggling
yeah,
and needs to
yeah.
be better.
I mean, Jamal's tough, man. It's not. We all know this about him. He's just struggling.
yeah. Well, I mean, this is
It's almost like there's sometimes you dog on a player for this or that. I don't even want to dog on him. It's like he can't really overcome
I mean, this is
what's
like,
happening.
I mean, this is like last year when we were playing the Portland Trailblazers and Dame Lillard was erased. Like, we
Right.
didn't
Oh,
see him.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is just a bad matchup for Jamal Murray,
Right,
unfortunately.
but there's different. Like you can still do 22 and 7, or even in that last bad game he had 9 assists. Tonight it was like Adam said, I'm afraid for him to touch the ball, and he can still find okay, the defense is keyed in on you. Well, then let's manipulate that. That should work to your advantage as a unit. And if Jamal is playing composed and crisply, he can still make that impact.
yeah.
So-
I mean, the thing is, they are finding the open player. Unfortunately, it's just Torrey Craig.
Sure.
See, but that's the thing is when a team can dictate exactly how you play,
Right.
it takes it away. Like
true.
even Jokic in the post, you throw it at him. Okay, now it's no longer a post. It's I have to kick it out
Right.
to this one guy who they're insisting I kick it out to.
Right.
I'm gonna run pick and roll. We're gonna blitz it. I have to pass it to get the ball out of my hands, and we're just not gonna run out at Grant or Craig or whoever else is out there. Grant, by the way, 1 of 6 from 3. It's just a tough time. I think. My theory is always this: it's hard to play both 2 ends of the floor. Like it's hard. That's why players like Klay Thompson are so impressive. Can go and lock down the other perimeter's best player and then still drain shots. I think Jeremy, he's been good defensively in the series, and so it's. He's putting a lot of energy on that end of the court,
He
too.
scored 18 points, remember, in one of those games against the Jazz, and we were like, hell yeah. And then since that point, I think he scored like 6 points. Like total.
I think Adam's nail on the head, man. Like, what's changed? What's changed is he's being asked to stop Kawhi Leonard. For sure.
Although he was guarding Donovan Mitchell. He drew the Donovan Mitchell assignment, too. But I don't know. Maybe this team's worn down. I mean, that's part of it. Jamal Murray, if you ask me what was really wrong with him, I think the defense is number one. They have a lot of really good defenders with more muscle than him.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're bigger. They're 6'8", 6'7". But the other thing I would say is maybe he's tired, man. This is game number 11 in basically 22 days.
I'm certainly tired. I'm tired.
Yeah, it's so funny. We're
I'm
talking
tired,
about
you
that.
guys.
Hey, man, but this is like, and Lillard was gassed in round 2 last year, but like that's life as a premier guard in the NBA. It's,
It is
you just got to push through it. And
We
so,
are at 82 games.
hey, we
Steph.
talk about the important lessons. Talk about the important lessons MPJ's learned in the playoffs. Same for Jamal. So last year, up and down, he knows he needs to be better. Comes back and is the best version of himself in round 1. He gets the promos. He gets the national spotlight. And then what happened? He's going to have to take a long, hard look in the mirror and be honest with himself about being better. He's got more in him than this, and we can't just dismiss it as bad matchup.
The one thing I will say is that I think Jamal really wants it, and I know that sounds silly and simple or this or that, but I really do. Like I don't think he's going to run from this. I don't think Jamal Murray is a guy that's
Right.
going to be like, "Wasn't my fault" or this or
Not
that.
gonna
Like
run
I think
from it, yeah.
I think he really genuinely wants to be great, and this matchup is revealing just how difficult it is to be great against everybody. But you know what? Paul George is a hell of a defender. Some of the greatest players in the
Right.
NBA have struggled against him. Kawhi Leonard, hell of a defender. Some of the best players in the NBA have struggled against him. Sometimes that's how it goes. I do have some other thoughts about how this about some changes they can make, but I kind of want to save those for a little
Sure.
bit later. I also want to get people's opinions in here. Do we have our graphics, by the way? So send us your questions. Do we have our food graphic here? Or should we wait for Harrison? Should this be a third?
Yeah,
third?
we'll wait.
I'll
We'll
tell,
wait.
All right,
you,
we'll
I'll
take
tell
it-
you the vast majority of comment discourse is regarding coaching at the moment.
Coaching it, Craig. Yeah, Craig and Coach.
We can be too reductive on this, by the way, because there's other things that happen.
Right.
You know what? And I don't want it to make it sound like, oh, Malone is, this or that. But to me, I hate that we're talking about the same thing we seem to always talk about here, which is like Malone's crutch. Always wants to go to the same crutch. And when it just seems that all evidence points towards the Nuggets having a better solution to this problem. But it feels at times like the team would rather lose this way than win. It
does seem like he'd rather do that. He's a principled man.
Very
But it's
principled
crazy because
or stubborn.
that almost cost him round 1.
Almost.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, it just happened. You
Yeah.
know? So I don't know.
Should we take a break here? I want to look through some of these comments. I want to see.
I will say this. I will say this. The average person, myself included, has more often than not has no business evaluating coaching, and I think most of the game is about what happens when even folks like us, the media members, aren't there. So, it's easy to look at something and go, "Oh, you got to fire that guy." But it's also fair to look at this and say his decision in the third, it's part of a larger background, and it's a source of frustration for fans.
Yeah. Should we hit a break? Take a little breather here. I need a breather.
Me too.
We're gonna be more positive.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, you know what? I'm turning around.
I feel great about the Nuggets in general.
I do too, man.
Just not this
It's funny,
series,
man, because
yeah.
I'm telling you, the one thing I've been over the last 2 days, one of the things I've been doing is just kind of looking at some of the lineups we haven't seen a lot of. What do the Nuggets look like with Porter, Grant, and Jokic together? They look great. The numbers are incredible, as you would expect. What about like you add Murray and Harris in there in these they look great. I mean, the Nuggets. I really do think there's something there. And Porter's not fully ready right now. I mean, look. Malone might roll him out here for Game 5, and it might be a complete disaster. That's why I'm not willing to go like 100% in. I just feel like I know what they are without him. I'm curious what they are when you give him to those lineups. Not.
Yeah. Which of your birds is most like Torrey Craig, and do you hate that bird?
Man, you know what's funny is I have really come to hate some of the birds. The common grackles.
Oh, get out of here!
It's really annoying. It's really loud. It
So
eats
anyway,
like the most food.
We talk about
You know what?
two
Like,
things
and
here.
it's supposed to be a defensive stopper, but it
Well, it plays nothing but defense except for it plays defense on the other birds. That's the thing is I'm trying to bring birds in, and it just sits on the fence and like yells at the other birds. Really annoying.
grackle. That's just
You know who never comes around when the grackle's there? The blue jay.
Oh boy.
All right, well, anyway, at the DNVR bar, we talk about two things. We talk about Denver
Three
sports,
things. Birds.
and we talk about birds.
Not a huge
We talk
fan of
about
the
the
pigeons.
Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer and
The
brewery
Morning
of
Doves
DNVR. Look, all the Breck brew is good. You can't go wrong. I tried that Nitro Irish Stout today.
You did. You had
It was great.
You had a very autumnal order. You had a coffee and a stout, and I was like,
Sure, that's a word, right? I don't know.
It is autumnal.
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
it's
I have no idea.
autumnal.
I'm not.
Wow.
I don't know.
You're from the East Coast. I would think that would be part of
On the
what
East
you're all
Coast, do
about.
people only use fancy words?
No, we
they're
just
they're
curse
just very
words.
they're very
It's not- yeah.
there are a lot of leaf peepers. They're very autumnal up
He's
there.
from Jersey, to be clear. I mean, let's
Okay,
be more
but you could
specific.
also check out their Avalanche Amber Ale more specifically. If you're not sure where to get it, punch it into the Breck Beer Locator.
He's so handsome, though,
It's
isn't
an
he?
awesome tool. You
It's
just
boyish,
punch what
you might
kind
say,
of beer you
boyish
want
charm.
into the locator to tell you where you could pick it up, like down to the 10th of a mile. It's an awesome tool. Or just come to the bar because we got it all on tap.
What does it look like Vogt does? Send us your comments. Let us know.
Yeah.
What does it look like he does? I would say he's a poet.
Got to control the narrative. We also have to talk about MSU Denver
like he dates
Online.
around.
MSU Denver Online puts a dynamic education. What'd you say?
That you date around is what you're doing.
Serial
Shout out
dater.
Michelle, who's watching at home. MSU
she's
Denver
coming for
Online
you.
puts a dynamic education
I
at your
didn't dress
fingertips
Brendan.
without forcing you to decide between earning a degree and living your life. It's the Colorado institution providing rigorous and affording online programs taught by professors who bring the real world into the classroom. This is not lazy. This is not because you couldn't do school or community college was, I don't know. But there's a lot of reasons why people
Killing the
fall
stream.
into an online education as a backup plan. But this is the real deal. So sign up for MSU Denver Online and don't choose between an education and the convenience and safety of your
Oh,
home.
Harrison's here. I was just letting everyone know why we loved Torrey Craig so much. If you wanted to add in your thoughts.
The man with the wind in his hair here. So
I'm a big Torrey guy. You guys know that.
Oh.
I appreciate what he's done for the Nuggets. I appreciate his hustle, his fight.
Here
I
it
love his
comes.
story.
here it's coming.
But I mean,
There it is.
I just feel like the role he's playing has kind of run its course.
Yeah.
He's been awesome for this team at times, like no doubt, man. He's been incredible in some of those Rockets games. He's come up big for Denver, but it just seems like it's not working out.
Man, you have an uncanny knack to come in and just like slide right into the conversation. That's exactly what we've been
Well, you're
saying.
talking about Torrey. I love talking about Torrey.
Well, one thing I think that's important to note is that people think Brendan looks like he's a model for Old Navy.
Brendan does look good.
He's a hedge fund analyst.
I was gonna say hedge fund. I think poli sci, like not full teacher. What's when you're a half professor?
Oh, he's like an adjunct.
yeah, like he's training to become
TA
the
maybe.
professor.
He's definitely
TA, there you
a
go.
TA.
Yeah,
He's
Someone
looks
just said it looks like I sell Pelotons.
You definitely don't sell Nordic trackers, that bullshit knockoff Peloton. Don't get that.
I agree with you, though, Wind. It does feel like we've gone from scrappy overachiever to, probably doesn't have a role at this level of contending.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the guys on contending teams like a Torrey Craig,
It's not really a guy that's in nine-man rotations.
The thing is with Denver's like inverted style of play where Jokic is the engine, but he's in because usually these guys are Montrezl Harrell or something inside, right? They're like they're inside players, and it's like, oh, well, we don't need our four to always be a shooter. But when Jokic is your guy, you need your guards too. You need your shooting guard to be able to shoot or dribble or pass.
Wow, someone said I look like Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm going to take the rest of the show off. Good luck from here, boys. I got to go.
Your job is being Leonardo DiCaprio?
I would take that job over this one.
Great job,
It's
man.
a great job.
I'm wearing the Patagonia. Like I was going to take it off. I'm cold, though. I'm sorry, guys.
Me too. I
Make fun of the color.
My cold heart wouldn't allow me to take
So,
my...
Wynn, I'm actually super curious because I'm seeing some comments come across the board.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Do you mind?
I do.
First show?
I've saw some of the comments or quotes come across the timeline before we went live, and they kind of raised my eyebrows.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to. Start with the most notable thing. MPJ visibly frustrated, visibly pissed off. He's pissed, and it comes down to the second half. We were talking about this during the game. He had 15 points in the first half. 2 shots in the second half, 0 points. And he pretty much said that he just didn't touch the ball. He said it's up to the play calls, quote, it's up to the coaches. We kept going to Jokic and Jamal. They're 2 amazing players. You can't be mad at that. But he went on to say that to beat the Clippers, we've got to get other guys involved.
Wow.
See, that's what I was worried about.
It was going to happen.
But I also
later,
he's not wrong. You just there are certain things you have to keep behind closed doors. In my opinion, makes me nervous. I'm gonna have to watch this.
Yeah, very pointed comments. And then he said the Nuggets are beating themselves. No way they should struggle to score like they have in this series. And I mean, he's not wrong.
Imagine him with 15 points in like 12 minutes at the half.
Right.
Imagine him sitting in that third quarter just watching the Nuggets brick after brick after brick, dribbling off their own shoelaces.
I'm sure he's watching. MPJ, let us know your thoughts here in the comments. Periscope, come on.
He was asked if he, as a rookie, can approach Malone and share that sentiment with him, that he should be getting more touches. He says if he's playing this amount, he thinks he should, and that he'll have that conversation.
I don't feel great about Game 5.
No, but I feel better about the future. You got to get there eventually.
We were in this exact despondent headspace after Game, 4 last time?
More despondent.
Oh, we were way more. Well, no, Game 3 we were. Game 4 we were kind of resigned to our fate.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean,
this one's frustrating because
this just
it's like if you told me at the beginning of the year the Nuggets are going to go down, how's it going to happen? I'm going to be like, oh yeah, they're going to play
Second
like their
round of the
dumb
Clippers.
lineups.
Yeah, and
no,
then-
I was going to say they're going to play their dumb lineups and it's not going to work. I mean, that's like this is how I would predict. I predict it next year too.
It's
I think that's how they lose next year.
It's frustrating because they were actually in a position to do what even none of us predicted them to do, which was win this series.
Right,
This is the
yeah.
first time they're playing a team that's definitively better, and they played just well enough that we tapped into that hope, and you get past, all right, just show up and fight. Now you're looking at it like, actually, they were a few tweaks away from winning this thing, which is both encouraging in the long haul and frustrating.
The thing that sucks is that they lost this game in the first quarter.
I would say third.
First-
They were winning the game in the
gap,
third.
though, after the first.
That's true. That's
if
true.
you have
It's
the
both.
lead,
It's
and
both.
yeah.
It
It's
turns
both.
out.
I'm saying you have the rest of the game.
Sure,
you
sure.
don't have that first quarter. Like,
Well, here's another way to look
Sure.
at this because I think that this is an evolution. Denver wins Game 2. Game 3, they're winning most of it. The Clippers make a decision. They make a decision on what they're going to do to the Nuggets. They're just not going to let Jokic beat them at the risk. And it's on Denver to adapt. And that's the thing is we went into another game without adapting, and it's
what do you guys? I mean, what does it mean to you? What does it say to you that they scored 12 points in the first quarter? Is that preparedness? Is that? I mean, like, what do you take from that? What do you draw from that?
Again, I think that what they're saying is we're not going to let these guys beat us. I mean, Jokic had like 6 points out of the first 7, and they were all a grind, right? Like they were all like heroic buckets because it took so much. They were throwing so many bodies at him, and they've completely canceled out Murray. They're just daring the others to beat them, and the others just aren't capable right now for whatever reason. I want to hear some more of these quotes, though. So your read on Michael Porter tonight, then, because as much as I agree with him, and it's us sitting up here just BSing and sitting on our couches saying this, a player saying anything publicly, there's a lot of I'm glad he did. I'm glad he shared some of that, but it makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. It's not encouraging, I don't think. But, I mean, at least – I mean, it's not – I'm not going to say at least he recognizes what an issue is because, like, it's so obvious. Like, how could he not, you know?
Yeah.
We also did this, was it December, on that road trip in Philly, when he talked about his lack of communications and the lack of consistency in the rotation, and he said he needed to talk to coach. Now that's not way.
I know it sounded a lot like that, and if you remember that press conference, he was almost like choked up, not like a cry, but like so furious he could barely talk.
He was choked up,
but it was an angry cry,
Yeah.
like I don't know.
And now look, that's not how you want your rookie handling it. But whatever conversation they had from there, he started playing more. They didn't really fray necessarily their relationship. So I will say, like, he was barely at Mizzou. The rest of the coaches in his life are AAU guys who probably said, just take the ball. This is his first time, I think, navigating this. A coach with the chops to coach him and push back. So I don't know if it's going to always be smooth.
Well, he's also playing on a team with two great players
Yeah.
who are better than him
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. What else, Harrison? What else we
So,
get to?
Michael Malone, I asked him about...
Do we need a Malanger?
Yeah, what's the Malanger? Let's bring up.
Yeah, let's get it up. Let's see
get it up.
here.
You know what I
Let's see
realized
here.
is that apoplectic is actually a greater amount of anger than rage. So I've got it out
Is
of
it?
order. Yeah, it is. It's,
Did you run that by like a scientist?
is Google a scientist?
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, I did.
But Malone took a lot of the blame. He said he's got to help Jamal out, get him better looks. I asked him how to get Mike more shots or what happened in the second half. Did the defense just focus in on him more? He said, yeah, the defense did focus in on him more, but the ball just didn't find him within kind of Denver's free-flowing offense that hasn't looked very free-flowing in this year.
In a couple years.
Yeah, in a couple years. He also said, Malone, that the locker room was really frustrated. I think rightfully so. I was trying to remember when they got down 3-1 against the Jazz, the tone of the locker room, I could be wrong, but I feel like it was one of, okay, like we feel like we've almost got something. We're kind of on the cusp of something.
Totally. Remember, they kept like even Jokic just kept saying, "Well, of course, we're only thinking about one game.
Yeah.
We can win one game or whatever." It was very. I'm with you. I was not confident at all. They were definitely more confident.
Yeah.
Where'd our Malanger graphic go? What are you guys even doing?
Guys watching the show?
Guys on Tinder over there.
I know, what's going on?
Totally
Yeah.
scrolling all
So
over.
where are we here? Where are we?
Sliding into DMs over there.
That's his MO.
You know,
Always
I'm
doing
going to
that.
say only concerned.
Only concerned.
Yeah.
You know what though?
Where are you guys?
No. I'm telling you, I could have. I wish we could have played Guess the
You
Malone.
should've.
That's got to be a new segment.
Because there's always a little bit of a, is this my fault? And then also a little bit of a, like, the Nuggets lose big, an important game, he goes the other direction. It's the little game one, all right, now I'm angry.
But where are you on the Malanger meter?
I'm too
Fine,
tired to
okay.
be the 5, man. I'm like, I'm apoplectic, except
But
for not
that's right,
apoplectic.
right.
Yeah.
Should
When you
be
get
numb.
to rage, I think you just combust. Like
Yeah.
you just
Yeah, yeah.
explode.
Yeah, I don't have enough. I don't have enough internal combustion. to get
I'm like
rage. I was angry though. I was angry.
No, see, I'm the spouse that has like, this has happened for too long that I'm just like, I'm not even upset. I'm not even upset anymore. I'm just gonna.
Staying together for the kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I'm staying together for the kids.
for
My
you-
beautiful
for Brendan-
kids who
for
are watching
Brendan.
now.
Sometimes Malone gets so angry that he just freezes out. He just like numbs out at angry and stops there.
Yeah.
But see,
Malone's a good guy. I mean, Malone has
all.
all these great qualities, but I'm telling you, it's just like a basketball player that does like a fatal flaw. Malone just has this obsession with playing the shittiest
Milan
possible
is
lineups.
at rage.
I could have
Serbia-
guessed.
yeah,
Yeah, I could have
angry.
guessed Serbia's not very happy right now.
I'm not. Yeah,
Gotta
We're
be in
with-
the middle of the night.
let's
for
not
this.
we're with
touch
you. We're
those.
with you, Serbia. We're with you.
Actually.
Yeah.
The only other guy we talked to was Yoke, and I thought this was interesting from Yoke and pretty on point. He said that they just need to relax and enjoy the moment a little bit more.
I love Jokic. He's talking about us too.
He said everybody's putting a lot of pressure on each other and noted that, and he said this when they were down 3-1 against the Jazz, but when they're in a win-or-go-home scenario, they play looser.
Right. It's true.
So if you're looking for
this
a
is
silver
why the
lining,
Nuggets always come back in series and why they always have to go 7.
we're
Because,
the
like,
Nuggets are fine. We just need to
Dude,
get down 3-1.
it's the straight rope-a-dope.
They're good.
Oh,
You
you
could
wanna-
argue they're in a better spot now.
Like to me, like as an analyst, I can tell that Kawhi Leonard has almost punched himself out. He's tired, and now it's time for the Nuggets to come in with their ultimate plan and just. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be incredible.
Noted choker Kawhi with such limited playoff experience.
Yeah, he's noted as being sort of like run shallow with energy. Like it's embarrassing for them. I'm going to start writing snarky tweets.
I mean, one of the things that just bugs me though is I really wish I knew what this team had in, some of these lineups we're talking about. I just wish we knew. We had more of a sample size. It sucks that we're going to go through this entire year and not really know what Michael Porter looks like with these guys, and part of that is what's so frustrating is not only do I not think that what the Torrey Craig, surrounding Jokic with Torrey Craig and Paul Millsap is like not a good strategy. It's also like, well, are we starting from scratch next year in a lot of ways? Am I making this too reductive? Because there are other things that could happen in this series. Like, I'm not convinced Denver wins this if Malone just goes with my perfect rotations.
This just feels like
chance.
a glass ceiling moment where the Nuggets. It just feels like we were heading towards that upper echelon, and we just smashed into that ceiling. And you're like so close yet so far away, right? Like, and it just doesn't feel like we are in a position where we're just making a couple tweaks and we win that game. It's like,
well, see, this is part of what sucks is, the series is not over. I don't want to talk about it like it is, but Denver after Game 3, there was a lot of people. There was 2 camps. One that was like, oh, the Clippers were just sleeping, and then they woke up, and that's why they won. And then there's other ones that were like, Denver's shown me something. You lose this one, it's back to like, okay, this is what I thought. Denver might steal one game, might be competitive in one other, but every other game is going to be a blowout, and this is where Denver is right now.
But they were go ahead.
No, go for it.
But they were both winnable. They just were. At the end of the day, that's true. And so
they played like crap for 3 quarters, and they were down 9 in the fourth, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that way after Game 1. Like, this team is just so much better than them.
Yeah.
But through these last 3 games, I'm looking more at what Denver's done wrong.
Yeah, same.
And it's
still think Clippers are better, but I just think Denver's not.
But this is, I'm not knocking LA. I'm sort of speaking to Denver being closer than I thought.
I know. I wish this game was like games 2 or 3 where you'd be like, it was that one dumb run or too many turnovers instead of
this seemingly small gap, which is quite large.
Well, yeah, we talked about this after Game 3. The margin for error against the Clippers is small.
Yeah.
Infinitesimal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also like you get to the contender club and the bouncer's like, who's your vet? Paul Millsap. Like, who's your third best player? Well, he's a rookie. And it's like, where's Will Barton? Well, he's not here. It's like, well,
what's your best lineup? One who hasn't played except for like 8 minutes.
Well, then you can't come in. You can't come into the club.
You can't come in the club. Oh man, there is the bouncer at the club. And,
just get kicked out of the club.
Yeah, we did get kicked out of the club.
But dude,
we don't have the right kind of ID.
But like, go home,
this is like
change
the manager.
Go
came down
home,
and
change.
told
Hey,
them,
we're not
"Oh,
doing
this
hats
is
tonight. We're not doing hats tonight.
Change your clothes. Show up with a couple slightly
Need to
hotter
cover up the
girls,
neck
and you
cap.
might get in next time. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god.
We got this in college. It's okay. Have to button up the collar. This metaphor has really extended itself. Is there anything else we need to talk about from this game, though? I mean, we might have to cook something up in segment 3 because we're going to take a break here. That is a good. I do like that tease. The only other thing I was going to say is that Montrezl Harrell was punking Jokic tonight. Not. I don't think in like that he was dominating the matchup or anything like that, but that he was jawing back and forth at him. I thought that Patrick Beverley, those are their 2 menaces, right? He was chirping up tonight, and it's from a Nuggets perspective, it sucks because those players, the last thing you want is
go to clubs
to lose and get punked, and Denver just couldn't like stop them from punking them tonight, and that it blows.
That's what gets those guys going too.
Oh, being able to kick you while you're down. Oh yeah. A little front runner. All right, let's take a break. When we come back on the other side, we are going to head to the menu. Michael Malone has some recipes.
Oh.
He has some recipes on the...
We just make new bullshit up every show.
Yes, as we're sitting here stewing over a lot.
We call them segments.
Producer guy, make these stupid Photoshops because we're going to make a stupid freaking segment.
But I got to say, I am a little hungry. I'm ready for
I am a little hungry, too.
I know,
they're going to be so good.
Oh, I can't.
Couple ingredients, maybe. A little questionable.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
What do we have for our ad? Or are you trying to defer to Harrison over here?
I'm
What's
dying
happening?
to defer to
So
Harrison.
anybody wants to read an ad right now to pay our bills and keep these lights
Does
on?
anyone want to live type an ad that we can just put on the
Yeah, so
screen?
let's talk about Strava Craft Coffee.
Ooh.
When do you want to pull up the DraftKings read? Because I butchered that
I
last time.
love DraftKings. I can handle DraftKings.
Well, the king of the game is Kawhi.
Oh,
It's a good line.
There's a
Didn't
nice
realize
segue.
he
Kawhi
was
Leonard was good tonight. He deserves king of the game.
He did. He
Best
had
player on the
a
floor.
third of their points.
that's so boring.
Meanwhile, Eric, start looking for a bet.
I'm
lose
looking.
some money. But
well,
start with
okay.
us. With what are we talking about?
Strava Craft Coffee, the CBD rich infused coffee that you can get online. If you sign up for their subscription service using code DNVR20, you'll get 20% off every order. That order could be whole bean, ground, K-cups, and you can choose to have that sent to you every 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks. CBD infused, what does that mean? You won't experience euphoria. It won't get you high. But if you're paying attention to your symptoms, you might notice an alleviation of anxiety, joint pain. It's just a nice, clear way to get that morning jolt of energy. So check out Strava Craft Coffee online, or just come to the bar. We serve that cold brew on tap, and that stuff's good.
I might need some.
It's really good.
Now is the time to celebrate because football is here, guys. I can't believe it. Like, actually, this weekend we got
I
football.
literally can't believe it.
To kick off football's 101st season. Wow. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all users a no-brainer to start the season. This, out of all the no-brainers DraftKings has given, this is actually it.
This one just really is a no-brainer.
It almost can't
It literally.
It literally
literally
cannot.
can't.
You
Literally
cannot
cannot
lose.
lose.
I wanted to say literally, but it's not literal. They could lose by
No,
They
101
would
points.
still give you the money. That's the crazy part.
Not if it's 101.
DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the spread to Kansas City plus 101 points.
I kind of
for
hope they
all
do lose
users.
by 101 points, though. It'd be great if the Chiefs
Oh,
lost
the
that bad.
sweetest.
The sweetest.
I would.
Other than our bets
I would
that
pay
we would all
$50
lose.
for the
Me
Chiefs
too.
to
I
lose
would
by
pay $50
102
for that
points.
too.
So even if Kansas City loses by 100 points, you still win. That is a no-brainer. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up and get this can't-miss offer. Pick any team during Week 1, bet $1 on them, and win $100 if they win. So you can do this with every team also. That's $1 to win $100 when you use the promo code DNVR during sign-up for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
This music sucks, man. Like
Extreme
Yeah,
EDM
this is like
in the
so-
back.
this is exactly what I would have put on the jukebox if I was trying to annoy everybody.
We got to take over the jukebox.
Well, so
here.
I took a pretty obvious bet. I went for Alexander Coleman to win .19 of Game 4 in some live table tennis. I know that's a little bit like a.
Wow.
You can get some crazy odds in Russian.
I know.
table
I know
tennis.
that's like a bet
Probably, like,
everybody's
all
jumping
corrupt.
in on.
Oh, it's definitely correct.
Let's see. But we're
100%.
going Alexander Coleman. Come on, .19. I need this, baby.
All right, are we ready for what is this called? Food corner? Where are we at? Does it have a name?
I can't hear you behind the festival.
Malone's
downstairs.
favorite recipe, man. We're really ragging on. We're gonna get our credentials taken away for
Is that
criticizing
supposed to
criticizing the
have
team.
an apostrophe.
Yeah, Malone's.
Yeah.
It's a possessive.
No, but recipes.
Oh, definitely not. No,
No,
you're right. There is a
definitely not.
second recipe. You know what? It
That
doesn't
is
matter.
not
We're not going to
correct.
remember. All right, what
We
goes on?
all
Let's see.
belong to
What
these
goes on
recipes.
our good pizza here? I would put a little
Oh.
pepperonis.
sign me
I
up.
agree.
I'll
Some
take
cheese,
it.
some
Are those
pepperonis.
just actual pepperonis, or is
Yeah,
there
those
something?
are they're pepperoni.
Where
Okay.
is this game
All right.
going?
Okay, what else we got? Ooh, some jalapeno, a little
all right,
spice, a
I'm-
little heat.
I gotta
all
be
right?
honest. I'm a little bit out of this pizza
Okay.
already.
What else do we put on this? Mayonnaise. Oh, God. Oh God. That last ingredient really was really threw off the rest of the pizza.
Unbelievable.
Someone's got to bring this home for me here. I'm a little confused.
All right, what do we got? A burger. All right, nice
burger.
grilled with some lettuce.
Sure.
not a big fan, but all right, whatever.
Onion? Can we get some onion,
tomatoes.
tomato?
Okay,
Oh, yum,
so
yum.
Hold
far.
on, we need another shooter on the floor.
What else do we need? Oh, God, ice cream.
Ice cream.
My daughter approves. She's
Actually,
a
you
very
know what?
big fan. You know what? Kind of sneaky great.
Sneaky good.
Sneaky good right here. We have any more meals? This are some nachos. All right, some queso and chips. Looks like
Oh,
that.
looks like some
some
barbecue
pulled pork.
pork.
Yeah, some barbecue pork.
But you know what this is
Solid.
missing?
Some guacamole.
Some coconut.
Oh my goodness. And thumbtacks. Thumbtacks. Wow. Is that all of our food?
Oh,
Are
God
we,
damn it. Alexander Coleman, you son of a bee.
As if this night
Get in on all the action with
Unbelievable.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
So that silly bit is kind of just like this is sometimes how a lineup is. You throw a wrench into the middle of it, and it's like the whole thing comes down, especially given in a playoff series when a team says, we can force the ball into exactly whose hands we want it to. And that's kind of what it feels like. You're eating a pizza that has like all good ingredients except for one horrible one. It's like, well, I'm not eating this pizza now.
I would still eat those nachos.
Just early reviews from we might win an Emmy for that segment. People are stoked.
Yeah, this
People
is
very,
peak
very
DNVR right now.
DNBA's Emmys.
So I think tonight was the third out of the last 4 games where Denver shot 33% or less from 3.
Not great.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, in the post game, the sentiment is a little bit that they've been getting open shots. They said that after game 3 and game 4. But, I mean, they're bad open shots. They're open threes for Torrey and Jeremy, who's hot and cold. And the Clippers are going to live with Gary shooting threes. So it's the shots the Clippers want. Yes, they're open. Yes, those guys have knocked down shots before, but they're playing into the Clippers' hand.
It is hilarious with it. Like, there are 9 guys that they want to shoot. They're like, we'll have either Paul or Gary or Jeremy or Monte or
any of them.
That's our grand plan. Doc is like, so what we're going to do is we're going to force it into any of their 15 players we want to shoot that aren't
just
Jamal
make any
and
13 of these guys beat us.
There's certain guys like Jeremy right now is just on a cold streak. I mean,
right.
that's
He's hit
one
before.
thing. He's been so good all year, even in the first round, and then just has kind of run into a wall. Paul Millsap's had a good year shooting the ball as well, although his shot doesn't look, it has a certain look to it. It's also slow as hell. They're able to run him out at him. Yeah, Torrey's not. I mean, let's be honest. Torrey does not a good shooter. I don't have any confidence in him. It looks disgusting. I just,
It looks like thumbtacks on some nachos is what it looks
Monte's tough because he's just so little, but he's been playing decently, I think, for the for
he's
the
had a
months
good
that he's out
playoffs.
there. He's having a good playoff run. So,
But a lot of guilty shots. I'm open, so I have to shoot this.
Yeah.
And it's all right if you're not a shooter, but you shouldn't feel guilty, and it really feels that way.
So
yeah.
this is like when there's a lull in the conversation. I'm like, I should speak up.
all right, let's move our attention now, guys. So, all right, let's put our rally cap sideways. They've come back from
Bad sweat
3-1
stain there.
before.
It's a rough look.
We all
Let's go,
sit up,
baby.
lean forward, like, all right, here we are.
Yo, listen.
Preach. Give us some hope.
We've been here before.
Very recently.
We've
I think it was
been
a week
here.
ago. It was 1 week ago.
We've been up against the wall with these Nuggets. People, it's really easy to write this squad off.
Preach.
Just sort of like it was a blanket statement, like the Nuggets are not capable of winning a championship because of who they are. They are the Nuggets.
Heard that before.
That's all we hear. That's all we'll ever hear until they make it so it's not so. But nothing happens until it happens. Like the
Damn
Nuggets
right.
can win the next game. We've seen them hang with these Clippers. It's like I don't feel like
Yeah, I
at any
agree.
point that outside of that first game, which I didn't even feel like the Nuggets were part of, the last game slipped away from them. They should have won it. This game, there were points where, if they don't come out and just absolutely sleepwalk through that first quarter, they're with the Clippers every one of these 3 quarters that follow. I don't know if the Nuggets can win this series. I certainly am not going to bet on it. I don't trust them like I do Alexander Solomon to win the 19th point.
Well, naturally, right.
But listen, man, sports are weird, and that's why you play them. You never know what's going to happen. We're in the absolute doldrums, the dumps right now, but it takes one victory, everything changes. So will it happen? Absolutely 100%. Bet everything you have on it. It's gonna win. We're gonna win the next game, and then it's a whole new mindset. Right now, I could not feel worse. I just couldn't feel more down about the Denver Nuggets. But I've been here before.
I feel like I have. I've been more down.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think part of this is just because I think the Clippers are really good, and it was going to take perfection from Denver, and we haven't had that yet. So
Here's the most important question, and it comes from the Oso Blanco. What would Danny Tanner say about these Nuggets?
this is a great point. Wow.
In 1 half hour or less that you can wrap it up.
We need to play some soft sitcom.
I just want to
There's
see
a moral to the story music,
I just want to see Eric enough 1 or 2 more games. They win one, they put a good fight in 6. Where this feeling that I really do have right now, which is as good about their long-term future as I've ever felt. I just don't want to. I want to see some more evidence to back that up, right?
No
Come
doubt.
out, play well, show some fight, don't roll over.
Yeah. I want to see. If they go out, I want to see them absolutely leave every ounce of it on the floor. And I don't feel like we got that tonight. We got parts of it, pieces of it, but it just felt like sloppy. It didn't feel like their effort was in line with the
first
level
quarter
of game it was.
It's like they were underwater.
Yeah, and so we know that they have it. We know how transcendently talented Nikola Jokic is. We saw what Jamal Murray is capable of when his back up is up against the wall. Can they respond? Can they do it again? Like, I'm going to say yes until they show me no. Like, until these Nuggets tell me definitively and it's over that I shouldn't believe in them, I'm going to.
Yeah. The thing you don't want to see is for them to go out and just kind of lay an egg. Like, that would be a terrible ending to this run. If they go out swinging, I think they should feel okay about themselves. If they go out swinging with a Murray, Harris, MPJ, Grant, Jokic lineup, I feel like they should feel a little better about themselves. We'll see. Do we get that lineup a lot in Game 5? I mean, what do we have to lose right now?
Yeah. I hope we see it too. Another thing that I think strategically Denver can do, I mean, look, I'm the Torrey Craig hater. I'll take it. I'll own it. But I would replace his minutes.
Very controversial.
I would replace his minutes with either Dozier or Monte, and probably Dozier because he can defend, I think, at a higher level than Monte can, just given his size.
Amount.
But a lot of this is they're going to take the ball out of Murray's hands. They're going to swallow up that Jokic-Murray two-man game. Let the Nuggets go elsewhere. And I don't mean like completely off script, but if they're going to put a lot of resources to Jamal Murray, can you run a pick and roll with somebody else?
Yeah.
I don't feel totally comfortable with Gary Harris. Usually it'd be Will Barton. I don't feel totally comfortable with Gary Harris doing it. Monte, there's a little give and take.
So bad tonight.
There's a little give and take with Monte. You know, like he's undersized. Yeah. So I don't know if I'd go there, but why not Dozier? Is Dozier a meaningfully worse defender than Torrey Craig? I mean, like,
I'm surprised we haven't seen Dozier, to be honest.
Me too. He was a plus tonight. He was a +2 in 30 seconds. So him and MPJ. But I don't know. I would just go. I would say if you feel like you can't get anything out of the Murray Jokic two-man game, maybe take them off ball, make them the secondary. Here's the thing. That's what they did with Jokic in the first round. As great as he was, they started having success when they said, hey, just take Gobert out of the equation.
Yes.
Let's play 4-on-4. If they're going to guard us, if they're going to change who they are that much to try to guard us in a special way, let's take it to the zenith.
Yeah.
And
they need to. I'm now convinced more than ever. They just need to go so heavy on MPJ. They just need to absolutely get MPJ making buckets and disrupt that idea that you can just bump Murray and Jokic.
Well, you have to. I mean, that's the whole thing. And we've talked about this. The Nuggets offense over the last 2 seasons has evolved from the ball is poppin' offense to the Murray Jokic two-man game. And it has gotten more efficient. It's got a better offense.
Still really good.
But a little bit more one-dimensional, right? Because that Murray Jokic pick and roll was there all along. It's just now it's the primary as opposed to the secondary. This is what you're talking about. It's great when you have a second identity. Definitely. And the Nuggets don't really have that second identity. It's post-ups right now for Jokic, but they're doubling the post.
And all of you, by the way, should have an identity of people that push the like button.
Everyone should have two identities. That's what I'm saying.
Guys. Your identity is a YouTube liker.
The one you have with your wife and family at home, and
the one you get dressed up for unknown reasons to come to work.
But no, it's true. I mean, one of the turning points, I mean, they went away from it, but one of the early turning points in round one was they went to the full-on Lawn Boys.
Yeah.
And why not? Why not try it now? Hopefully, though, Harris just doesn't have 4 fouls so early.
That was big.
Yeah, that was big. Any other closing notes? Harrison, what did you think of that food food recipe idea?
People
which we threw right on you.
I mean, is it hyperbole to say my favorite segment ever? I don't think that's hyperbole.
I miss Dr. Harrison.
I mean, it's either that or yup, nope.
Yeah.
It's close.
And you know what? It's yup or no. It is.
The best part about the food one is that as immediately after it ended, there was about 7 comments that were like, "What was that?"
That's what we were going for.
We didn't even really
mission accomplished.
We didn't even really announce that it was in making a metaphor for his lineups. We were just like, this is how Michael Malone cooks.
If that seemed half baked to you, it was.
All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. If you are watching, do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and
even if you don't like it,
even if you don't like it, you hate it.
Lie to each other tonight.
Friday night. Possibly the last game of the season. I'm just saying it's possibly. And if you wanted to RSVP to the DNVR bar to be here on a Friday night,
let's
do it. I was trying to make a sales pitch here.
Well, I mean,
not a great start.
Right? Like, hey, you guys want to come to potentially a terrible night. It's going to be a great night. It's going to come on Friday. We're going to be enlivened here at the DNVR bar. We're going to send good vibes all the way to the bubble. We're going to penetrate and pierce that bubble, and we're going to bring a dub, and things are going to be great. And then Kawhi Leonard's going to think about some of the choices he's made, and he'll probably leave the Clippers mid-game. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Good show. Giving them